and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which 3 podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my big brother and yours, host of Season Gaming Spitcast, the gentle one, the good man, the handsomest of the handsome.
I don't like this intro. Where's he going with this?
I'm uncomfortable.
His head is very soft.
Just for the audience, this was unexpected. I don't know where this is coming from. But what's going on, everyone? We gotta. It's gonna be a non-gentle show tonight. We could say that.
That's right.
Yeah, there's some stuff has been going on.
Oh, boys, it's gonna be an episode.
Twitter has been spicy, man, and Elon hasn't even finished purchasing it yet, and it is spicy.
It's true.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Joining us as well, of course, is host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, Mr. Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit, less gentle, a bit coarse even, but always loving.
Well, your mother would describe me as rough,
Oh
but
my
yes.
God, my mother again!
That's right.
She always bringing up my mother.
You guys know this isn't a party chat, right?
Yo, speaking of, yesterday we get a text from our buddy Suddy. He's like, hey, which episode did you guys make fun of my dialysis? I'm at the dialysis center. I want to show my friends. I was like, I don't know. Bin Laden was on dialysis. I was like,
Oh my God.
This
he
guy.
actually asked us that.
Listen, I'm excited to talk some really, again, spicy stuff, some things that came out of like left field just today.
Yes.
It's been wild. So I want to get into it, man. None of this like, oh, how's your week? How's your do? Oh, I'm good, man. You? None of that. I want to get right to it.
All right. So
If we're getting right to it.
Yeah.
Cut Luke right off.
I
was just gonna say, if we're getting right to
screen.
it. So, as I understand it, Xbox is dead, and Jim Ryan cares more about cats than he does his female employees. Did I sum it up?
Nailed it.
Yep.
Well, we
Okay.
Pretty much.
Good.
Last week, of course, we heard about the Bethesda and Xbox showcase on June 12th. Very exciting. That's their standard time. It's a Sunday. We were all excited to see just what we would be playing this fall with Redfall and Starfield. And here we are, May 12th. We are finding out that Redfall and Starfield are now both delayed. Bethesda releasing a statement saying they are sorry to their fans, sorry to the gamers out there, but for the health of them, their team, and the game, they are delaying into 2023. Oh boy.
Yeah, specifically, at least as of today, the first half of 2023.
Yeah.
Is what they said.
Don't believe it. Thank you. We'll see
yes.
you in holiday.
And they also said, we can't wait to share our first deep dive into gameplay for both soon. All they said was #soon.
Oh man. What? Let me go for as the Sony pony here.
Do it.
What a bad look, guys. What a bad look. Like it felt pretty it felt pretty like permanent. Like this thing wasn't going to move anywhere because they announced the date a year ago, and they've been so adamant on this being the date, even, seeing some of like the PR folks even like tweeting out some Starfield like related or teases of as they're planning for their big summer showcase. So like we're all getting hyped, they're sharing like little pictures and gifs and stuff of the game. So like we're all getting excited. And then all of a sudden the carpet just kind of pulled, or the rug pulled. Because I think all of us could agree Redfall was not coming out this year. I didn't think that.
I still thought it was. I thought they had moved it to like October, like Halloween, based on the whole vampire thing. But
yeah,
I had heard September. I really was thinking September.
Yeah, no, I never. But like to me, most of the time, I don't believe the first time you show the thing, you're going to get like a concrete like date and like this is when it's going to come out. Like I always think it's going to get pushed.
Yeah.
Whereas Starfield, it felt like, yeah, you just ditched probably PS4, PS5, ports of this game. So you're only focused on the Xbox and PC version of this game. It is solely Series X, if I'm not mistaken, and Series S. So like, it's like all hands on deck for this thing. And to me, it hurts the game a bit because just a few weeks ago, or maybe even last week, we heard reports of like, yeah, no, this game's still not great. Like the engine's still rough. Like, quote unquote, like trying to fly the spaceships just don't work, or something along those lines. So to me, it's a bad look, but we're going to get this game eventually, and the games will come. So to me, though it is a bad look on Xbox, it's only temporary though. Once this game comes out, then it's going to be judged on the merits of the game.
Of course. Yeah. But I agree with you. I think this is I don't understand the continued miss, I guess is the word, on, they show, to your point, they show all this concrete stuff of 11/11. And then Todd Howard himself, who some people call God Howard, comes out a month ago or whenever it was, and in an interview, and people ask him directly, how confident are you in this date? And he says, we showed the date last year because of how confident we're in it. And there just seems to be continually, there a lot of companies are like this, it feels like nowadays, but specifically with Xbox, there seems to be a disconnect between leadership and messaging of what is going on with these games and these studios. And I just don't understand how Todd Howard and his team and Pete Hines and Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer and Matt Booty and all of the people involved in messaging around this game allow all this communication about Starfield through the first half of 2022 without really recognizing that this game is not going to be ready to ship. I mean, we're just gamers. We just consume these things. And if you probably showed us a 20-minute video, I'm making this up, of course, but realistically, showed us a 20-minute video of Starfield today, we probably could have told you that doesn't look ready to ship.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with Battlefield. Obviously, Cyberpunk's the big one everyone talks about, but Battlefield, we just had a perfect example. We had this play test, 3 months prior to launch, and all of us who played it were saying, there's no way in hell this thing's ready to come out. It's not even close. Like, how is the executive leadership of these companies not able to recognize that a game will not be done? I don't understand it.
Also, it kind of like fights back that idea. And again, like, we don't know the innards of how any of these beasts work, but like Game Pass just allows devs to make the games they want to make it when they want to make it type of deal, right? Like deadlines aren't that important type of deal, and you then kind of get this. You're right. Like, how do you not know a year into it that this game is not going to be coming out on this date? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it is just like, you're totally right, Ains. How does management not know that this game is coming in incredibly hot?
They know more about game development on their pinky than we will ever know, right? I mean, I'm not discrediting their knowledge of, some of the most well-known executives in the industry. I'm not discrediting them about their knowledge of game industry and development and everything that we don't understand intimately. But realistically, there has to come a point where someone in that room is saying, guys, why do we keep saying November? There's no way in hell this game's going to be ready. And as to Luke's point that set this up, we got the showcase announcement last week. It's literally Starfield is the damn logo. It's Xbox's Starfield. And the expectation as of the beginning of May was still that it's coming in November. And you further planted that expectation because we all talked about it last week, that the showcase was going to be a big point of Starfield based on the logo and the fact that they were still communicating November 11th. So I just, it's baffling to me. I don't understand where the disconnect is here, but they have to fix it. They have to, there's a disconnect somewhere with them understanding what their studios and the state of their games are in, and they have to figure out how to get over that hump because this is damaging, whether they like it or not. Starfield could come out next year. I'm sure we all hope it's absolutely incredible. I know I do. And if it is incredible and everything that, we have in our minds of what it could be, if it hits all those highs, a lot of this will be forgotten. But there comes a point where when this happens repeatedly over and over again, your audience, even your hardcore audience, loses faith that you're going to deliver on these promises and the quality of games and the dates. And that's not a good look for anyone.
Yeah.
I used a phrase that I will use often over the next week or so is that it doesn't look good and that it's borderline unacceptable. And I say borderline unacceptable with a bit of air quotes around it, because what does that even mean when you're a consumer, right? Like, knock it off with some of the people that make exaggerant takes on things.
Sure.
But it does feel borderline unacceptable in the way they're handling it. By no means am I bothered by delays. By no means do I think that delays are necessarily a bad thing. Certainly, I mean, I was very excited for Halo Infinite in 2020. I love it in 2021. And I'm very aware of the valid criticisms in 2021. God, can you imagine in 2020?
Yeah,
they delayed that
it would have been unplayable.
Right, exactly. And that would have been unacceptable. And it's frustrating to me how this communication thing keeps happening. I appreciate the... Well, hold on, let me look at my notes, because I genuinely had to write this down because I was so flustered by the
flustered.
Do you need me to say something while you look at it over?
Yeah, do you need us to talk?
So it feels like right now, the world events going on, the pandemic, kind of the lack of AAA titles in 2022 are actually going to be... Sit tight with me. Sit tight with me, please. Okay. Are actually going to do it a bit of favor, right? Microsoft is not going to have a major first-party title.
Oh, you're speaking about Xbox specifically.
Yeah.
I thought you meant lack of just AAA titles, and I was like, no. Tons of them. Okay, sorry.
So they lack a major first-party title in 2022, it seems, right? Barring the possibility, the maybe likely possibility of like a quick remaster or something akin to that they
should still be coming.
Yeah, I don't know, Ains. I'm not.
Not
saying
Capri.
You know,
hear that, Sean Capri? It's coming.
I don't know, but I'm not fighting.
I'm not saying anything's coming definitively.
Either way, I don't think Forza Motorsport moves the needle in the same way Horizon does. But I don't know. Yeah. But that's not my bigger point. Is there is not a major tentpole title truly here for Xbox in 2022.
Yep.
Despite that, they didn't have a launch title in 2022's opening, and they sold very well. The world events are actually doing them favors in the sense that this delay, they're selling boxes, they're outperforming their major competitor in the chip shortage arena. Game Pass subscriptions are serving them well, and they've got titles that have ongoing content delivery processes. So if you're going to lose your tentpole titles, I don't know of a better year to do it in, because it looks like Sony's AAA stuff was front loaded. I don't have faith Ragnarok launches this year, but I'm hoping it does because I want to play it, you know. But it looks like any damage Sony could have done to them as far as like game like mind share for a game was done in the beginning of the year, which with Horizon and with Gran Turismo 7. Mm-hmm. Everything else feels multi-platform unless I'm missing something. And those setups will actually do Microsoft a favor in terms of delaying it to 2023, because if the games can deliver then, maybe it's then that cadence we keep talking about thinking is going to happen, maybe then it finally kicks up for Game Pass. And the other thing I want to note is that Halo Infinite's messaging has consistently listed priority 0. Priority 0 has been an important thing, and that is, for any listener that's unaware, the idea that they don't want to burn out the dev team. They don't want to push them so hard to crack down on stuff now to where they are burned out and want to leave, right? That's what they don't want. They want to retain talent, whatnot. And I'm curious if that mantra or something akin to it has made its way into Bethesda or other Microsoft studios as a whole, because in doing that, boys, I'm thinking that is a long-term plan to attract talent. When you watch Ubisoft and Activision and Sony with Naughty Dog, we know of, and a few others consistently mistreat their talent. If you know that Microsoft's going to be willing to delay Halo, delay Starfield, delay Redfall because of, developer health, is that enticing to you if you're talent? Those are aspects that I think we are due to talk about at some point. But on the consumer side, it does feel very frustrating. However, I was never really into either of the games, so quietly, secretly, I don't care.
I mean, Luke, between you and me, I liked your tweet today. It's like, we sure are getting emotional out of a game we've really never seen. We really haven't seen gameplay. Like, real talk, I love when they're like, yeah, but like that's like in game. It's like, really? Because I don't see any UI. Like, I'll believe it when I genuinely see the gameplay. Until then, that's a cinematic.
Bigger question I have is, as I understood it anyway, is that Starfield was Game of the Year. So
That's true.
how does that math check out?
Well, you can be Game of the Year twice.
Yeah.
2 different games.
I mean, how's God of War gonna compete against Starfield in the holiday season? Is what
True,
I've
very true. Compounding, not the former part of your 2-part thing there, Luke, of around the studios themselves within Xbox and the management there. I don't care about the delays. Delays don't bother me, and I tweeted that out today. It's like whatever. When it comes, it comes. There's plenty to play. Whatever. The bigger concern for me, just from a fan standpoint, is the consistency of showing, at least on the surface, the lack of proper timeline management. And we keep talking, to your point, Luke, around Xbox has 23 studios. They've got Game Pass, or they want to get to a big AAA release every quarter. We've been talking about that for about 2+ years now.
Yeah.
They still have not shown us realistically that they can manage releases on a consistent cadence to within their first party. And that is concerning.
Question.
Yeah.
About that. Before you keep going, Ains, I'm curious. To my amateur outside looking in, does that mean we should start really, really questioning Matt Booty? Is that his domain? And I ask that not in a vitriolic, like, let's go after him sense. That's not what I mean. But like from the outside looking in, is that something that gamers, podcasters, critics should be asking, or is it possible he's crushing it behind the scenes and this is just the better of the options?
I don't know. We were chatting about this prior to the show, and I mean, again, you said it well there. From the outside looking in, we don't know. There's an awful lot we don't know that goes on, obviously, and nothing annoys, I think, the three of us more than when people speak as authorities on subjects that they have no understanding or knowledge of speaking on, right? So I want to be careful of what
I can be a Twitter lawyer from here or there.
I'm an artist. I know everything about how to sell subscriptions.
That's right.
But so I want to be careful of how this is taken. But to your point, outside looking in, he is the head of Xbox Game Studios, period. So you would think in any corporate structure, at the end of the day, it falls on him.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some type of onus put on him, along with probably his executive team, to do a better job here. And even if that better job is only communication, so be it. But there's a better job that has to be done somewhere. Because right now you're looking at 23 studios, several of which they acquired nearly 4 years ago now, that have not put out a game. And if that's because of the pandemic combined with the scope of the games being much more grand, and they're all working on bigger releases now, and they're hiring, and it takes new time to onboard talent, all of those things are probably true. But you knew that, right? If you're an executive leader leading a corporate structure like this, you didn't know about the pandemic. That's not fair. But the pandemic is now 2.5 years old. You knew that you were onboarding new talent, and you knew that onboarding new talent is not a quick and fast way to develop games. All of these things are known. So you should have been planning all along to say, okay, we've got X, Y, and Z studios. These 6 studios, I'm making this up, of course, but these several studios are going to be working on bigger AAA projects that are going to take extra time. What do we do in the meantime? And it seems like they didn't have a plan for that. There's nothing that we know of coming from their studios in the short term, which really it hasn't been short term. It's now been years, other than the usual suspects. Last year, we got Forza Horizon, brilliant game. We got Halo Infinite, brilliant game. We got Psychonauts 2, brilliant game. All fantastic releases, right? But those were known quantities. They're all known quantities. I said Psychonauts.
Yeah, but it's multi-platform.
It is.
And Deathloop, multi-platform. Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm sorry, Deathloop, timed exclusive, but will be multi-platform.
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo, timed exclusive, multi-platform, and neither of those timed exclusives are here on the one that now owns.
I'll let you guys know, Xbox fan, they're good games. They're good. They're good games. I've been enjoying them on my PlayStation 5.
I have no, you know what
but
scares
but
me?
anyway, I don't have to keep ranting, but you get the point. It just
Yeah.
we seemingly keep saying, well, next year or once they get into this cadence, and every time we think we're about to start doing that, there's another bump in the road, and
Here-
we're starting to lose trust that they're going to be able to deliver. And that's
Right.
before, sorry, Joe,
Yeah.
that's before they bring on several thousand more employees from Activision.
Right. So, like, okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm going to be a little bit inflammatory, but please stay with me here. I have no faith in them. None. I've been saying it for like 3 years now. When they get their cadence, when like, I am one of those people. That's like even the PlayStation guy. I'm like, this E3, they're going to crush it. This E3, they're going to show us this roadmap. It's going to be awesome. And the cadence is going to happen. Starfield's going to kick off the cadence. It's going to be awesome for competition because then PlayStation's really going to have to fight back. I've been rooting for Xbox. They have shown me time and time again that, and I'm gonna blame the management here. Management has no idea what's going on. Because you're right. How do you not know these games are not ready? You know what I mean? Like how do you not know these games are going in hot? And at the
or is it an investor trick?
I mean, it could be, but that hurts again. Like, is that trick worth the trust you're losing with your audience? I don't know. And maybe it is. Because let's be honest, all three of us are going to at least try out Starfield when it comes out. Sure. But like, to me, I have no faith that they're going to hit this cadence. And you're right. They're just buying stuff. And we're like, oh yeah, there's content here. That means that content's going to hit eventually. But we don't know when that cadence is going to happen, and I'm tired of giving them the benefit of the doubt of this is the time that the ship gets right. But at the same exact time, there does need to be something happening inside the scenes or behind the scenes with management to make this pipeline much more sound. And what makes me think back to, as a Star Wars fan, Star Wars was in a really rough place a few years back. And people like to blame Kathleen Kennedy, right? It's all of her fault. People blamed Bob Iger. And Bob Iger was able to leave, with his reputation of being, Disney's greatest CEO, and Kathleen got to keep her job. And Star Wars, to me right now, is probably in the best place that it has been in a really long time. And Bob Iger left when he fixed Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy fixed Star Wars. And what I think ended up happening there in the Star Wars fandom was those people understood that there are vacancies that needed to be filled to help that pipeline, to help the bigger picture and the day-to-day. There's a Jim Halpert and a Michael Scott there to kind of run things. And so I think what Xbox kind of really desperately needs, not even kind of desperately needs, is they need their Dave Filoni. They need the person that is going to...
For ignorant people like me, who's that?
Okay,
Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige
of I know that name. I don't know what he does.
Jesus Christ.
God, damn it.
Oh my God. Who's someone from the 40s? FDR.
A game in every system.
We have nothing to fear but the lack of exclusivity.
What they need, Ains, is a figurehead who ultimately gets final say, but has an executable vision and is able to delegate the right people to execute on that vision while keeping the vision intact. Dave Filoni now kind of takes Star Wars as a whole and says, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, but don't do this, don't do this. And they all need to be cohesive. Kevin Feige did that with Marvel, right?
Okay.
He said, we're going to have a 23 movie plan. And that's what we're going to do. And now he's like, all right, now that I've got this done, my next project is this next phase. But they guide the bigger stuff while handing and delegating things off.
Yeah.
So kind of, at a broader scale, we used to not joke because it's known through the industry, but like Rod Ferguson had been brought in on multiple games to close them, to basically say, you got to get this game shipped. And he did that successfully with Gears. He did it successfully with BioShock Infinite. And now he's over on Diablo. So kind of a large scale closer is what you're saying. Someone who can actually get the job done. in.
Yes, but with a vision from the beginning
Sure.
too. That's the one thing Rod never truly had solo, right? Like he and
Sure.
Cliff from the beginning. But that is an analogy. I think there are probably better ones out there, but I can't think of any. I'm sorry.
But to that point, right? I'm trying to figure out how to word this. You're at a point now where you're almost past the curve if you're Xbox, right? The expectations around what we're talking about have been building for years. This isn't like they just acquired Bethesda and they just acquired these other studios like last week, and now we're saying, okay, what's your vision for the next 3 years? It's been 4 years. It's been a year and a half since Bethesda, or whatever it is, more than a year and a half. And not to put it solely on Bethesda, but just overall, it's like, where has the vision been? And Xbox, we've given Xbox a lot of praise over the past several months, and I think for good reason. Game Pass, their service focus, their accessibility focus, they've done a lot of good things. But this just seems like an ongoing problem.
Yeah. Can I interrupt real quick? Breaking news. I just got the email of all emails, boys.
Oh boy, this again.
Manscaped would like to sponsor XEP.
Dude, I get them at least like twice a month.
No. Like, this one's real, Joe. This one's real. And they just need me to send them my demographics, location, gender, average number of downloads per episode, promote audio or in YouTube, and our reads baked in or DAI. I just, I have to send them that basic stuff. Very simple. Definitely not information that I keep private. Right. And then Manscaped is interested in me. And
let me guess, you're not setting the rate they are.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I would. I'm sure.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Influencer relations here. Never take those deals.
No.
Just a little inside baseball. Like those Manscaped ones. If you're not setting the CPM, you just don't take it. All right, kids? There you go.
I have arrived.
There you go. You could brag to Hillary. Go, hey, look. They're gonna gift me the man. What do they call it?
Lawnmower.
A lawnmower 3.5, and I'm gonna get all types of gross.
Some of those sponsorship emails are hilarious.
This is really awkward, Joe. Do you see what Ains put in the private chat? He says Bitcast just accepted the Manscaped sponsorship.
Oh boy. Well, here's the thing. I hate to announce it here on the show, but I am now a sponsored Harry's razor. So this is a strict competition. That's right.
Yeah, some of those emails you get from different companies are like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you seriously sent this? Like, yeah.
I saw one, Real Talk Boys, and then we'll get back to it. There's a company like Manscaped that started the company because Gillette changed their slogan from the best a man could get from like a best a person could get. And they're like, we're sick of these pronouns. So we're starting our own company. I'm like, how triggered by like your own insecurity of like you're probably homosexuality that you have to go out there and make a goddamn company because you're that insecure. Come on.
There's a new horror film. We're just really going off. There's a new horror film starring Kevin Bacon called They Them, but there's a slash in between. It's a slasher film.
Oh my god.
They slash them. It's about an LGBTQ plus conversion camp where there's a killer. They slash them. Get it?
I get it. I'm just trying to already get it out of my head.
Kevin Bacon said, "This is good for me."
Well, Kevin Bacon needs money because he was part of that pyramid scheme.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh man, but he was in Tremors.
I know. Listen, back to Xbox.
Oh right, video games.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this then and set it up. Where do they go from here?
Who's they?
Xbox. So two things. I guess we can't really speak to how do they right the ship, but if you're looking at now the next 3 quarters, right? Mm-hmm. What do you do to try and plug this gap?
Okay. If I may go first on this one.
And I'll predict that Luke, at some point in the next 5 minutes, will say Gotham Knights. Go ahead, Luke.
Have you heard of Zack Snyder? No. So the idea of righting the ship is I think, way hyperbolic.
Yeah.
The ship has been righted. We just got reports that they crushed it in the last quarter and won quarter sales for the first time in an entire generation. The ship is fine.
Yeah.
If anything, the ship is going to continue to be fine if what we believe to be their management on the chip shortage going forward is what it is. It looks like they're going to have more consoles in perpetuity, more consoles than their competition. They're going to be just fine there. So no ship need be righted. If they were able to do that, given the content that's already available in Game Pass, they're going to be just fine. Expect a couple things from this news of Redfall and Starfield. Expect them to rely more on indies and third parties, as they've done before with Game Pass to much success. Expect ongoing titles like Halo Infinite, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon to get content. Expect Deathloop to have a higher marketing budget for Xbox than you would have otherwise thought, as well as probably some new content releases. Those are the things that you're going to see happen. I have hopes and dreams, pie in the sky type stuff about that Forza expansion that I'd love to talk about at the right time in this show. I have hopes and dreams, pie in the sky stuff for that Halo Infinite content if the time is right. But you can expect comfortably Sea of Thieves stuff. Those are ongoing revenue models that you're going to have. And so I don't think any ship need be righted. I think you're going to see a re-release of some kind this year, or a remaster of one of their big titles. Maybe it's Gears 2.
GoldenEye.
I mean, if it's the real version, but not like just a straight port. But like, they're going to need something for the holiday. What's it going to be? What can you do? What is it that you have that is doable? And maybe a Gears 2 remaster is that. Maybe it was going to be a collection. Now you got to split it and say, just focus on this one. I don't know the answer. My hope is that they knew long before last week that Redfall and Starfield wouldn't make their dates, and they planned and accordingly. But no ship need be righted. They are fine. And again, I go back to my original point. In this year, where all these other things are happening, they are fine. There's
Xbox
not a ton of
is dead.
Right. Hey Joe.
Yeah.
I noticed your CEO hashtag not mine Team Green.
Yeah.
Has some issues with his cats. Maybe you can help him with that.
I posted this on Twitter, and I like this joke, so I'm gonna read it out here. This is what I think of Jim Ryan. All right, real talk. Jim Ryan comes off as an alien disguised as a human who is trying his best to assimilate to society, but is unknowingly fucking blowing it. It's like this guy is one flub away from calling his audience earthlings. The guy doesn't talk like a person.
He doesn't.
He really doesn't.
He's very removed. Yeah.
I know Zuckerberg, my best friend.
It could be like Zuckerberg could be his son. But I bet
was Jim Ryan in that photo from Facebook last week by chance?
Yeah, he's all the way in the back with the group that can't smile. No, to me, also, like as a PlayStation fan, I also think that this is actually great news for PlayStation, because this maybe means that, hey, we don't have to go as hard in the holiday season that we thought we would. So maybe this means that they can push, God of War back to 2023. Maybe that could give them a bit of breathing room as well. But to me, the ship doesn't need to be righted on the Xbox front in terms of the company's in the best position it has been in a very long time. But the management does need a nice little swift kick in the rear and a direction to go to, because though the ship's been righted, there are still like some holes that need plugging and to keep this thing from sinking. Sorry, I got distracted. Something flew in my light and it scared me. But yeah, like that's what I do think. I don't think the ship needs to be completely righted, but there's still things that need to be fixed to keep it moving at a steady pace, because right now, yeah, I've lost faith, and I'm not a hardcore fan in the ecosystem by any means, but I have lost faith in what they can deliver. And it is, as the PlayStation fan, the light bulb still flickers in my head of like, oh yeah, this is why I'm a PlayStation fan. Like, genuinely, I know their games are going to come out, and sure, there's going to be some delays here or there, but it's not going to be this type of at least seemingly dysfunction when it comes to the release of their games. Like, let's be honest, Halo in its position right now, just like the show, is kind of fucked.
Dude, the show's as a the non-Halo fans are really liking Halo.
Oh no, it's just like he has sex in the last episode. That's why I was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. Whatever. Who cares?
I don't care.
But like, honestly, like even their flagship has had problems getting off the ground, and it is, to me, still a worrying sign that Xbox is still going to be buying more and more, and they're going to put even more on their plate, and it seems like they can't even handle what's in front of them right now, and they're just going to take more on, and we're just going to be okay with it, type of deal. That's at least in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of agree with everything you guys said. I don't have a whole lot to add, but I was thinking about this fall, and as this news came out about Starfield and Redfall, both of which, by the way, I sound more excited for than you guys, because like I'm hyped for both these games. But neither here nor there.
Wait, and you're hyped for Redfall and Starfield?
Big time.
Why?
Yeah. Well,
it sounded like I was being condescending.
Dude, you're hyped for Gotham Knights. Like,
but I've seen footage of Gotham Knights, and I know what I'm getting. I know what I want, but like you haven't seen it, so like, what is it that's selling you? Is what I'm asking.
Redfall.
I sounded like a douche, and I wasn't trying to.
I'm used to it. Redfall. Redfall is being made by the team that made Prey, and has been worked on since Prey released in 2016. So it's got a long development cycle behind it. It is also adding looting elements, which is one of my favorite elements in games. So you take what I consider, and I think many now it's like a cult classic now, but many consider one of the best games of last gen, and the development team behind that, and some of the team obviously behind Deathloop. And put that
what game
into
was that, Ains?
What?
You didn't say Prey. I was just trying to.
I didn't say Prey?
You didn't say Prey now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so Prey, right? And you take all that with 6-year development time, and a better scope and some loot elements. I think it has a ton of potential, and very similar. Again, it's potential. I'm hyped for the potential. I completely agree with you. We haven't seen gameplay from either game, so until we see that. But I mean, when you know the development scope and the teams behind these games and what they're trying to achieve, the hope obviously is that they do. That's why I'm hyped for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know what Naughty Dog's making, but I'm excited when I see it, because I know it's going to be good.
Yeah, you're banking on prior delivery of what you know the team can do. Whether or not they hit that, who knows? Maybe not. Fair. But
I am a little bit on Luke's side here when everybody's like, what's your most anticipated game? Starfield. It's like, we've seen 5 pictures.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I think being too hyped before you see anything is a mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of in between. But anyway, I completely forgot the point because of Mr. Douchey down there.
Me neither. I forgot the point too.
I didn't even listen to your answer.
I know.
God, this guy sucks.
I don't know why I bother.
No, why you're excited for both these games.
Yeah. So that's why I'm excited for those. But what occurred to me as I was thinking about the fall, that we're all trying to figure out what the hell Xbox does now, right? Is it occurred to me, and I know I'm a Halo fan, but it occurred to me that a Halo Battle Royale could become very, very important and very, very big this fall. If it hits, like we all obviously, again, hope it hits, we have no idea. But if it actually comes out and Forge comes out and those things hit like we hope they will, Halo could be kind of that big market presence that it was at launch, but really hasn't been since. The other thing that I was kind of thinking about too, and I don't know if you guys think about this, or I don't know where the contract lies, but let's assume potentially that the Activision deal goes through at some point in the next several months before next year. Don't know if it will. Probably doubtful that it will, but still, if we assume that, could they start?
Jason Schreier says it's not going to happen.
I trust my friend, the YouTube pundit, more than Jason Schreier.
Solid.
But will they start to try to ramp up exclusive Call of Duty content on the Xbox side? Because we know how powerful that can be. Maybe not to us, maybe not to the people we talk to, but to the market. I'm thinking of things that they can kind of plug holes with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you, because like for me, I'm like, I saw Gotham Knights and I'm like, yep, I've seen. First off, I now know the character I want to play as. Definitely Batgirl. She looks awesome. And then I think my alt is going to be Nightwing. But like, I'm excited for this. Like, I'm legitimately excited for this game. It's my most anticipated game, and that's even with like the thought of like God of War could come out this year. It's like, yes, I've seen a little bit of God of War, but not enough to say, yeah, that game's safe to be 2022. So like Gotham Knights is my most anticipated game in 2022. I've seen it, and that's why I'm now fully committed. But I'm not buying that $300 edition because no steelbook means no buy.
Yeah,
it's important to me.
Yeah. I hope it's good for you guys. I watched that. I was late watching it. I sat down and watched it in 4K, and I was like, yeah, I already told you guys. It left me shockingly unimpressed. Yeah. Like I was pretty hyped for it, not as much as you guys, but I was pretty excited for it, and I'm not even going to buy it now.
Tell me why, because I haven't told why I'm excited for it. So tell me what you want.
Yeah, and you know me well enough. Like I know you guys are hyped for this. I hope it's awesome. I really do. There's lots of people who want to enjoy this, but the combat looked so dated and so boring that that's just my opinion. Like it looked like Spider-Man PS4 last gen. Like if you took Spider-Man PS4 and went backwards, it just looked like, okay, here's 4 goons, and you hit this one a few times, and while you're hitting him, the other 3 are just standing there. Go back and watch it. The other 3 are just like standing there waiting for you to hit the next one. And I'm like, this is some really poor looking combat. It just looked boring to see.
I will say, I think Red Hood is absolutely a snore, but Nightwing's combat I dug because he seemed like a more just acrobatic Batman.
Yeah, he's just sliding around and jumping around and
doing an extra twirl. So and
I don't know if the writing is good, right? If it tells a good comic story, because the Court of Owls, as I understand it, is a very
good comic.
Yeah, like a very well written, broad, good story. So if it can pull that off, I could overlook some of the combat. But let's be honest. I mean, a lot of why you play a comic book game like that, like Spider-Man, is flying around and beating up goons in the combat. And if that doesn't look good, it didn't impress me. But that's me. And the game is not one that's aimed at me to begin with. So
here's a question.
No, my turn.
Oh, sorry. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit.
You're honestly
a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's funny that you use the Spider-Man PS4. Like, yo, I freaking love that game. I want more of that. Sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. That was good. This looked worse than that, is what I was saying.
See, I did not get that vibe. I got the vibe that maybe whoever was playing it wasn't maybe their best move, which we've seen from time to time. But I like games where I go around as a superhero and I just mash buttons and do cool stuff. That is legitimately fun to me. All the way back to
Crackdown
3. All the way back to like the old school 16-bit beat 'em up games. It's one of the reasons I'm excited for the Turtle collection. I like just mashing buttons and being powerful. That's one of my favorite things in games, and I got to do that in any number of games. And when you look at Arkham, what's that?
No, sorry.
That was a real cough. Okay.
I had COVID 2 weeks ago, so I'm still.
Oh, did you really?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Damn.
When I got sick and I said I was sick, I found out later my wife tested positive, and I was like, "Well, that's what I had too."
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm legit glad you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Joe, sorry.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. It's just like
the to me that's the fantasy of it is kind of being overpowered and being a superhero. More to the point, like I'm curious to see how the co-op elements do with it. I plan on playing this game single player because I just want more Arkham, and this looks spiritually like a spiritual successor to it. But Arkham allowed for a depth of combat because it was single player. I also hope that we get an Arkham collection that's like upscaled, remastered again. I would like that. But Gotham Knights, I think, is going to be fun. It looks fun. I got the $300 edition, and I feel like I overpaid, but it was a luxury treat yourself moment. Because if I do love it the way I do, I think and hope that I'll love it. I'll be happy to have it. If I don't, then I'll have missed out. And that was kind of I won't have missed out. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I think the last person you would ever get flack from for buying collectibles would be me.
Yeah, Nightwing and Robin are going to be my two for sure, at least at this point. And speaking of collector's editions that we don't use, I still have that Mass Effect helmet in a box that I've never opened in my closet. Someone needs it.
So stupid.
And somebody
Why did
buy
you?
it for
You're
me.
not a huge Mass Effect fan, are you?
No, but he didn't want to miss out.
I didn't want to miss out. I thought I was going to get into it.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to get into it.
Idiot.
Even in the middle of the pandemic, I'm like, this is boring. It couldn't do it for me. I know, buddy. I know. I'm not hating on you. Like that's the worst part. This is a real thing I'm talking about. I hate when I don't like a game that everyone says I'm supposed to like, and then they use that aspect plus the fact that I like games some people don't like, and they make that combined. They're like, "Oh, you like Avengers, but not Mass Effect." Yeah, it's apples and oranges. Shut up. I still love great games, Elden Ring, God of War, and you gotta stop, Baines. All right, it's just
you know what I hate is when people make fun of you for liking games that other people don't like. Yeah.
I don't get why you don't like Guardians. They talk just as much as Biomutant.
That's right.
Biomutant's fun to play.
God, this guy sucks.
I'm terrible. I have the collector's edition for Biomutant, by the way, too.
Ooh wee.
It was on sale.
2022 is the year I'm going to play Cyberpunk, and that's what I'm excited about.
You haven't played it yet.
Here's the thing that I'm excited about, though. Like real talk. The fact that Arkham Knights is abandoning PS4 and
Gotham
Xbox
Knights.
One. Sorry,
Gotham
what did I say?
Knights.
I say
Arkham Knights, which I've done too.
Yeah.
Yes. Get rid of that. It's time.
It's time. It's time. Rip the
rid of
Band-Aid off.
That is what held Avengers back. Their draw distance and character speeds were held back by PS4 and Xbox One loadings. And when I play Halo Infinite and it takes me 20 minutes to load into a match, I'm like, look at you VCR peasants.
Oh,
get off your old Xbox One.
20 minutes to load into a match. What Halo are you playing?
Sometimes the poors load in with us. It's like, what is this? What is this? Your VCR. I don't like it.
All right, calm down, Eric.
It's kind of interesting because the Gotham Knights demo I thought was on a base Xbox One, but
was it really?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I was joking that it looked
because you
bad.
thought it looked ugly. I didn't think it looked ugly. Did it look ugly, Joe?
No.
It looked good.
What?
The city looks good. It does look
Gotham
good.
Knights.
Oh, I do get the critique that like Jason Todd does look like he turns his body cam off.
Yes, no,
Like
A+ tweet by Neo GameSpark.
Yeah.
Jason Todd absolutely hits kids.
Yeah,
Let me just tell, and like not all of them, but like the ones that maybe,
like my cousins, he hits.
There you go. Definitely hits your cousins, and he wouldn't
usually
hit my
when
kids.
people aren't looking, but sometimes
He wouldn't hit Ains. He wouldn't hit me.
Yeah, like if I said like, oh, I'm going to a quinceañera, like he would automatically like, ugh, like right, and right as the Enya hits, he's like, ugh, God, all right. He rolls his eyes every time he passes a Chipotle.
Jason Todd looks racist, everyone.
That's the
what
joke.
we're saying.
You didn't pick up on the last 4 minutes. I hope it's good. I really do. And I the two games that I'm hoping are really good just for fans in general this fall are Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
I just hope those games are great because
You think Hogwarts coming out?
It's still holiday as of right now. They don't have
That's
a set date, but it's still holiday.
That's
so
right.
we'll see. We'll see.
Is that the okay? I think it's a good time in the show. Ains, I really don't feel like there's a lot of AAA games coming. Like, hear me. Like, let me tell you what I'm tracking. I was tracking Redfall, Starfield, gone. Tracking Ragnarok.
Yep.
Gotham Knights.
Yep.
Modern Warfare 2.
Yep. And Warzone 2. which is apparently, according to Tom Henderson, literally what they're calling it is Warzone 2.
Okay. Do I add that to the list? It just feels
Well,
like Call of
considering
Duty.
Warzone has 100 million players, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but is it going to be an Overwatch 2 situation?
Did you see how much hype Overwatch 2 generated?
For a day while they had Twitch drops, and then it lost 94% of its people, and the day after it was down to 99%. And I'm not knocking, I'm just telling you, I don't know that Overwatch 2 did what they were hoping it would.
Okay.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
So you hate Blizzard and hate Overwatch and hate people who aren't crunching.
As much as I love Overwatch, just the little bit of insight I may have, Luke has a great point. We don't actually know how many of those were like sponsored streams,
actual real,
actual like organic or paid organic, because that is correct. Like the day after traffic just drops for this thing, goes to show probably the paid people left.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So back to your point about AAA, I think
what's coming out this year, bud?
Well, no, but that's the thing. It's May, right? We haven't had any of the showcases in summer yet, so there's going to be things that come out that we don't know about. You name the other ones. You got Gotham Knights, Hogwarts Legacy, Modern Warfare 2, Ragnarok are all expected as of this moment to come out. We had the most ridiculous, probably 6-week period in gaming history in February and March.
Horizon, Gran Turismo, Dying Light, Elden Ring.
There's more.
Like Sifu. Like you got smaller things that did.
It
sold over 1 million copies. Let's give it a little bit of that.
But it's not AAA.
That was okay. Right.
We're talking AAA, right?
Pokemon Arceus or whatever you call it. These kids are calling it.
Yeah, and then
Kirby.
And Nintendo, Kirby, and then Nintendo has stuff on slate for later this year as well.
Mario Striker.
That's right.
So, I mean, we're acting like 2022 is barren when, in fact, when you add up the releases we're probably going to get and the things we don't know about, we'll see at the end of the year, of course. But I would probably put 2022, or I would place a bet now that 2022 stacks up pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a great year. Again, I put out a tweet. It's like the SpongeBob. Like, how can you say that this is a light year? Yeah, Pokemon Arceus. You have Dying Light. You got Wonderlands. You got Horizon. You got Kirby. You got Elden Ring. And then, there are still things like out there that are going to drop, like your Splatoons, your Gotham Knights, your Saints Row. So like, there's still big games to look forward to. Yeah, and even like your Harry Potter. So I get why people are skeptical. I think the great end cap of this talk is I think what publishers, marketers, all of them need to do, and it's a very it may hurt their quote unquote bottom line to do this, is hey, maybe you don't just put out this game's coming out on this date, right? Maybe you just put a year or a window to it, and then you can actually, when it's time, 6 months before it's released, when you have everything on lock, then you go and you drop the date, you drop that big reveal for that thing. Like as we talk about God of War Ragnarok, God of War 2018 really had a 90-day push. It was announced that, or not announced, but the date was dropped in like the end of January. The game came out at the end of April. So like, that's what I think marketers and and such need to kind of learn from this, is I think you're testing people's patience. So I would suggest the thing that people really like, maybe follow that Fallout 4 structure of show the game off, it's ready in 6 months, go out there, buy it. And I think you're going to waste way less money putting marketing dollars in this thing than you would for those pre-order sales, because that's the reason why they do it in the first place.
It is strange that this keeps happening. The only logical reason why it keeps happening is shareholder appeasement, and to your point, pre-order sales and financing reasons. But it is frustrating, and I would think, again, no expert, but I would think that we have enough big AAA examples now of companies failing their fans and paying the price where they wouldn't want to keep doing that. So,
a question for you guys, genuinely, because we do this every 2 weeks. Did we actually talk about Square-Enix selling off its Western devs to Embracer? Would you like to just talk
Go
about that
it.
for the next 20 minutes? Yeah. So, hey, gang, have you seen this? Have you heard about this, gang? Square-Enix selling off its Western devs to Embracer. You know, you got your Eidos Montreals, you got your Crystal Dynamics being sold off to Embracer with its IP. So, you know, Deus Ex, Tomb Raider for the what seemingly is to the layman a steal of $300 million hairs. Oh boy, oh boy. Ains, what are your thoughts on this acquisition?
I don't know what Square's doing half the time. I really
Neither do
don't.
I.
I just I don't understand it. Again, outside looking in, you know, and Hogue, you know, wanted to be very careful on correcting me around how they phrased it, but you know, they're taking this Square is taking this 300 million around in their press release announced that it's going to help them invest, not that they're spending all 300 million directly on, but help them invest in blockchain, AI, and cloud. And it just feels like Square doesn't know what they're doing. You know, they come out in the press release talking about Tomb Raider being an IP, correct me if I'm wrong, that had sold like 82 million units or something like that.
Oh no, 38 million.
How did I get 82? Okay.
Uh,
30.
Well, maybe Lifetime, but like the trilogy, the
No, I
reboot
meant
trilogy.
Lifetime. Yeah, I meant
Okay,
Lifetime.
then it could be your.
But anyway, tens of millions of units. And it's just like everything we've heard from Square about Tomb Raider over the past several years has been, the ongoing joke is, it didn't meet expectations and it didn't sell how we wanted it to. And it's like, this is a gigantic IP in the gaming space. How have you not capitalized on this better? And I don't know. I don't know why Square it seemed like, hey, we can't manage this properly. It's not meeting what we thought it would meet, and we're just going to dump it. And Embracer basically just said, yeah, we'll take it. Of course we will. So I'm curious to see. I hope Embracer is going to properly fund what we hope, right? With Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Montreal, or what used to be Square Montreal, whatever they end up being named. I hope that they're probably going to fund them and allow them the resources, because what we heard at the same time, right, is we're going to get a new Tomb Raider in Unreal 5. So, you know, that has the potential to be a massive, massive hit. And meanwhile, Square is releasing games like Square East, I guess the other side of Square, is releasing games like Babylon's Fall, which is literally dead. I mean, dead.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know what you guys are doing.
Stop giving Platinum money. Sorry.
Well, that too.
Stop
So anyway, I don't have a lot of thoughts other than it does seem like a steal. Along with these kind of core IPs and 3 studios, they got back catalog games as well, which, if you add up the IPs and kind of the back catalog games that Embracer now owns as a whole, is absolutely monstrous.
Bonkers.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Embracer kind of releases from their publishing kind of overarching company in the next several years. But I just hope that the new Tomb Raider is done justice and that the developers are taken care of. That's it, really.
Yeah, I think first off, that's the most important thing. Make sure everybody is feeling safe and is secure at those places. Then the most important thing after that for me is like, all right, so Guardians 2 is a go? Huh? Work.
You got Guardians
magic.
2. You got Deus Ex is a huge IP that many of us love that hasn't been done in several years.
Yeah.
And you have Legacy of Kain, which I know probably doesn't have a lot of large market clout, but it is one of those that's a cult classic for many people as well. So who knows?
Yeah. Sky's the limit. To me, like I've echoed this on the trophy room. So I'll say it here now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Square. I definitely feel like they need help. And I definitely feel like by the end of the year we're gonna know that they've been sold off to either Tencent or Sony. Because that's where it just seems like all roads paved to an acquisition. They've made themselves incredibly lean, and I think for a reason. And I think the one quote too, where it's like, we're going to try to stop trying to make, Western games or whatever, wasn't really talking about Forspoken more than it was talking about them trying to publish Western games, because they just seemingly can't do it. And I think them selling off to Embracer kind of makes sense for me, that they would kind of aim for PlayStation, because I think if for PlayStation, you don't need Tomb Raider because you have one that sells really. You have your own Tomb Raider, and it sells better than Tomb Raider, right? On just solely one platform, so you don't necessarily need that. So to me, I kind of see this as Square becoming the reestablished, not in name, but Japan studio for the most part.
Do you what do you guys think about Forspoken? I haven't talked to you two about this.
So stupid.
It's not going to do good. I don't have faith in that.
Okay, because you've probably seen these jokes we've had about it online, where like I think Dash and Mo and a few others are like, this game's going to be really good, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't know what you're looking at. Like I'm baffled.
It doesn't look great. Okay. There are some times where it looks good, and then there's other. But like, there's other times, not even combat. I think like the second time they showed it, I was like, okay, this looks decent. Like, it's not going to be my game of the year or anything, but I think it's going to be a fun time. And then like the last time they showed it off, I was like, oh my God, this looks bad. So it's too hit or miss for me. I think Forspoken might be a bit of a dud. I don't think it's going to be like a Babylon's Fall level dud, but I don't think it's going to do what Square thinks it needs to do.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious.
We'll see. What say you, Luke? You dumb idiot.
About the overall deal?
Yeah, about the overall deal and the fate of Square, man.
Let's thrilled to discuss this.
I know.
No, it really frustrates me because there were clear signs that Eidos Montreal, Guardians of the Galaxy, wanted to make games. That Crystal Dynamics was figuring it out with the initiative and with Tomb Raider. Like, they made great Tomb Raider games. Yeah. They were clear. It looked like they were going to be making Perfect Dark. And what I know about Avengers is the team that botched it is gone. You know, the team that's there now loves it. And all of that comes down to Square being bad managers. They're bad at managing those teams, and it's really frustrating. There was an all hands meeting. A lot of people at Crystal found out when we found out. There was an all hands meeting, and then the vibe was pretty good after they found out what Embracer was going to be doing. Now, on the outside looking in, that really freaks me out a little bit. Like, are you kidding me? How bad was Square-Enix? That Embracer Group sounds great. That's just weird. And Embracer Group has yet to produce a high quality game that everybody wants or is interested in or wants to work for. And that's the difference, right? Square is this renowned name, but they continuously dump on their Western studios. They sold them off like they were nothing. See, and to me, that devalues the hard work. Like, again, Tomb Raider, the reboot trilogy, fantastic trilogy. Like, in a world, great games. I'm not saying they all hit or that I was into all of them, but I loved the first two. And Shadow, I didn't want to play it at the time it was out. That's all it was. That's all it was. But it was great games. Guardians of the Galaxy, top tier game. Avengers, despite all odds, is making money now. It's making good money now. That's, again, despite all odds, right? It's wild. It's just weird how those studios are treated by Square. And so I'm glad they're gone out of Square, but I'm baffled that it wasn't Xbox that got Crystal, because they were angling for that, it felt like. And it felt like maybe they were locked up with Activision. And I wonder if that's true or it's just something we think. I need a YouTube pundit to tell me otherwise. But like, how much is Activision stopping Microsoft from getting? Is it stopping them from getting WB studios like NetherRealm, who they should get regardless of IP? Is it stopping them from getting WB Montreal or Rocksteady, which is a bit of a mixed bag? If they can keep the talent, all right, I can see it. They need talent retention. That's the key to all of it. It just really is strange. It's a strange thing.
It is, because then, you're hearing like WB wants to sell their studios, right? So moving away from Square and then going to WB, it's like they want to. They need to unload these games first, of course, because they want to make profit on these bad boys, and then sell them off. But then also bring the IP with them or license the IP with them. So meaning, let's just say Xbox wants Rocksteady. Well, you can get Rocksteady and they want Batman along with it. They're like, whoa, we're not going to give you we'll give you the permission to make a couple of Batman games, but it's going to be on our say so, right?
Right.
So
right.
if they can't guarantee that Batman's like on Game Pass, no way would I sign that deal if I'm Microsoft. And
Correct.
how worthwhile is an investment of Rocksteady if now I'm only buying a studio for its name? The point I made on the trophy room is, yeah, Rocksteady's great, but we also know Rocksteady for making Batman games, right? And those type of superhero games. You know, we knew BioWare for their terrific RPGs, and then they strayed far away from God's light and made Anthem, right? That's right, it's listen, this is a seasoned gaming show. The name has to be dropped.
Anthem
But
has
like,
to be thrown in there.
yeah, so like there's a tremendous amount of risk no matter the studio or the name attached to it when you're purchasing that studio. And one point that Jeff Grubb made was, and why buy the studio when you could just poach the talent? Right? Which we've seen people like EA do. To poaching folks from Monolith. So that is a predicament that I don't see. WB, I think, has to get off their high horse in order to, depart with their game division. And I don't see that happening, but I understand why they would want to, because they want to just stick to what they're good at, which is making really good shows and Batman movies.
I don't have further comment there, but you did bring up Rocksteady, which made me think about Suicide Squad, which is now next year as well, right? That's been delayed. But I wanted to ask you guys, because I know you're into these games far more than me. Suicide Squad, it's a good point you brought that up, because that looked way more interesting to me than Gotham Knights did.
Really?
Yep. No, I agree. I think to me, that is the next gen game. Even though Gotham Knights is now, next gen only, this is truly the next gen game. It looked awesome.
Like the combat and the co-op looks so much more interesting and fun than what we saw at Gotham Knights.
Yeah, I agree. It looks phenomenal.
But you got to play as the bad guys.
I don't care
Patsies?
who I'm playing. See, I think that's a good point, Luke, because you've said before, like being able to play as the character that you know from either movies or comics is a big part of it for you.
Yeah.
And for someone like me, I don't care at all. Like I'm looking at the gameplay. So I think that's probably a big difference between the two.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's gonna be a very interesting few years as like now you see Microsoft and Sony hire managers for just strictly acquisitions. So I wonder, and maybe Ains, before we call it what?
Real quick, because while we're on acquisitions of Sony, and we mentioned WB, I do not want Batman going to Sony, and I want Batman multi-platform. To be very clear, I don't like when big IP go exclusive and lock people out. I hate that Spider-Man, one of the best characters of all time, only belongs to one console group. I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate it's like when Rogue Squadron was only on GameCube. That sucked.
Because it's such a great game on a mediocre console.
Right. And
speaking of which, did we ever hear, and maybe this is my own naivety because I don't pay attention, but Wolverine's obviously coming by Insomniac, right? Is that a licensing thing, or does Sony have they bought some permanent gaming rights to Wolverine? Like they just license it for that game, and because Insomniac's making it, it'll be exclusive to PlayStation.
That's John Drake knowing the right people at Sony and vice versa.
Yeah. Because that would be a Fox property, but
gotcha. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wolverine, I mean, as a kid, when I was really into comics, he was always my favorite. And I know he's not Spider-Man, he's not Batman, but he's up there as you know.
He's beloved. He's absolutely beloved. And again, they need to get the voice actor from Red Dead 2, Arthur Morgan's voice actor.
Roger Clark.
Bug out. I think he could do it.
Awesome. And I met him at Comic-Con and got my Red Dead stuff signed by him. He was super nice dude.
Yeah. There was one last thing. Hey, AIDS, because you're like big into business, so you're an expert on all this. What does like an acquisition manager do, you think? Because Kyle and I were talking about it. It's like, what do you do after you're done purchasing the thing? Like, is your job for 8 hours a day just like, theory crafting? Like, all right, so whatever, we're getting NetherRealm. and they're gonna make a Sly game. Like, what's that looking like?
I would have to imagine. So we're gonna caveat this right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I'm not getting clipped that I'm no expert. I don't know. I can tell you what I would think they do based on stuff I've been involved in on a company, but is completely non-video game related.
Yeah.
My guess would be that you think of an acquisition as what we always see, right? Is Xbox or whoever, let's say PlayStation buying Insomniac. And they say, okay, you have to map out what talent do they have? What have they created? There's obviously a whole financial statement that goes into it, right? What have they produced? What's their revenue stream? What's their 3/5 year plan, probably? And Outlook IP ownership comes into it. My guess would be that an acquisition lead or manager, whatever word they would use, director, would be someone who would be looking across the marketplace at independent studios and kind of almost like a scout, really. You're scouting for studios and talent and IP ownership and value that would fit with whatever the mothership is directionally is looking to go, right?
Gotcha.
My guess would be, look at PlayStation as a good example recently, and we've talked about this, where they've got the single player AAA cinematic IPs down better than any, probably any other company, right, over the past several years. What did they need? They needed live service, they needed PC expertise, and they needed multiplayer games. And that's what they've done over the past, 12 months, 18 months? Yep. They probably had people within the organization, my guess would be, examining, okay, where do we get that talent? Who's good at it? Who has experience at it? How much can we spend on getting that? It's not like you have an unlimited check, right? And going out and just talking and making deals. And that's why you have the conversation with Jade Raymond, whether or not she's right, who knows. You put up Fire Sprite Studios and you bring on Haven because there's someone somewhere doing a financial analysis to say, for what we can spend and what we want to achieve, here's a good bet.
Okay. And that actually makes a whole ton of sense, because the other problem is, like, yeah, if I purchase these studios from, like, let's just say WB, I'm not collecting royalties on the Arkham games. WB is. So I am spending hundreds of millions of dollars to spend hundreds of millions of dollars for the next who knows how long. If I can't take the Batman IP, then that means whatever Rocksteady would be working on is like 4 to 5 years of like no profit from this organization.
Right. It's all expense.
It's all expense.
Yeah.
So
and then you have a line item saying IP ownership, 0. Like you would have a line item saying you don't get anything here. You're in the red for 4 to 6 years until whatever they deliver. And then you have to ask the question, how confident are we that we can manage the studio well enough to deliver something in year 6 that is going to recoup plus give us X amount of profit stream. And, that's where these big decisions are made. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Luke, you look like you need sleepy time. You want to call it a night?
Am I fading? I'm sorry, guys. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what my dad says before he's about to go to sleep.
Sorry.
It's okay, son. I'm
good. I'm just
bullshit.
Sorry,
I lost you there, man, kiddo.
I didn't mean.
So yeah, I didn't mean Mom and I, we're not working out. And it is your fault.
I'm sorry. Your mom and I are working out.
It's just exhausting him.
I gotta stop falling asleep with a lit cigarette. Anyway,
behind the scenes here, this is my 3rd podcast of the day.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
It's my one. Humble brag.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to outro us, because you look.
No, I got this.
Okay.
Well, guys, thank you for listening to episode 27 of Cast Co-op. You can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost, and you can find my content on all your podcast services. It is called the Xbox Expansion Pass. I just completed an interview with Jeff Steitzer, who is the voice announcer for Halo and has been for the last 20 years. The guy that says Slayer. We had a lot of really Killpocalypse. He did all the big hits for me. It was an absolute blast. He did the intro to the last week's XEP, and now you're getting a sit-down interview with him.
That's
an absolute
awesome.
pleasure of a guy. This is actually episode 26. Some idiot who's very gentle.
Honestly,
mislabeled it.
we need to double down. It's 27.
It's 27. That's right. That's right.
And
That's
it
right.
might show up on audio services at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
for you, Sonny.
Well, gosh, Sonny. Honestly, Ain said that something to do with your dialysis. He was not interested.
Oh,
in
here we
helping you.
go.
Exactly.
Yep, you can find Ainsley Bowden where, my friend?
Yeah, so you can see everything we're doing at Season Gaming. You can find me on Twitter at Porsche Power, playing a lot of Halo and talking about a lot of Halo as usual. Other than that, doing some streaming lately, and got some new content coming out on Season Gaming interview and a deep dive we're gonna do soon, as well as a roundtable I'm putting together for women in the gaming industry.
I sound so disappointed, but I was hoping you were going to say another Halo roundtable. But you said women, and I was like,
So that's coming together, and hopefully that'll be out soon as well, because
that'd be awesome.
It'll be a really cool conversation. So other than that, yep, you know where to find me.
Guys, the reason why I was cracking up before was I was just thinking a scenario that I just played out. But like it is like a bad dad lit cigarette falling asleep, and like it's Luke. It's like Luke as a kid sitting on his lap with the little like pinwheel hat, and it's Luke's face. It's like Luke's even sized head, but just like on a child's body. Like he's like waving his little legs around, like "I love you, Daddy." He was like, "You're a mistake, son." You know.
You're bringing back trauma for him.
I know.
Pinwheel hat, please.
I would love to get him a pinwheel hat. That'd be great. Oh God.
We do a Halo roundtable, Ains. Talk season 2 and the season of the show. I feel like we need to do it, man.
A Halo one? Yeah, let's do it.
Dude,
I'm
ready.
on the show.
A little of both. Like the state of Halo would be a cool topic. And because I got a lot of thoughts on season 2, Last Part and Standing and stuff. I've been putting a lot of time into it.
Yep.
And then the show would be its own topic too. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
If you could do that work, if you could do that work, I'll just show up and talk about it. Thank you.
I did write a piece on season 2 that you can find on the site right now too. I covered it all, everything in the game, not the show.
Yeah.
So you can check that out too.
I'm hoping to do a companion piece to that if I can get some time.
It's crazy now thinking now that the show is wrapped, where we were really upset episode 1 that he showed his face. It's like, oh no, you're also going to see his O face. It's like they're just.
No, it's not the finale's next week. As we record.
It's next week. Oh man, so you guys got to go through another one, huh?
But it's fair to say the percentage of non-armor chief to armor chief is like 90-10.
Yeah,
like bad.
And the percentage of bad episodes to okay. There's not a lot of bad episodes. There's a lot of okay episodes. There's one episode that needs to die in a fire. So
wow.
Needs to just throw it out the window. It's the worst.
Quan
Ha needs to die. She needs to go.
She wasn't in this week at all.
That guy, thank goodness. See, that's the thing. It's just like Rose Tico from The Last Jedi. The character, terrible. Yeah. It's BS that people will think you're talking about the actor. The actor, great.
Okay.
But
I thought we were gonna go in like a Rick DeSantis route.
I don't. Oh, Christ! No, that guy needs to burn on fire too.
Fire.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. Let me take us back.
I'm
here,
tired.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You're going on a tired man tangent. All right. We see Master Chief come. That's all. That's why it's hilarious. You can follow me over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. This week, you know what we're talking about, guys? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? We're going to break down the PlayStation financials. We're going to be talking about the Gotham Knights demos. We're going to talk about how PlayStation's freaking dead. It's the last episode, so you should check it out.
Financials did not look good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know it's done.
I know a graphic artist that just totally figured out how to save Sony.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'll talk to you after later.
Oh, cool. That's cool. I've seen a couple of Law and Order episodes. I'm practically a lawyer. I think I could solve all those,
Ainsley
issues.
Bowden approved all these jokes.
Yep, it's true. All right, everybody. You know where to find me. And what do I do here? Oh yeah, shut your goddamn mouth. Shut your goddamn mouth. Shut your goddamn mouth.
Not gentle like Ainsley.
Shut your hole. keep casting that co-op.
That wasn't a thumbs up.
Just